think it says a lot about this show. The funniest things come from the chat, you know?
Yeah, I don't even know what crimping means.
It sounds right, though, right?
Yeah,
In the very wrong way.
It sounds British, yeah.
Bro, did you see that? I meant to send it to you. The video where Jamie Hayter gets her figure.
Yeah.
Oh my! It's like fucking Mary Poppins. Was she okay?
Baffled.
She's
Gobsmacked.
she was so British. Now let me be clear, Max, I am British. I'm not saying this is sort of in an insulting way. Dukes might be, but
I am not.
She was
never insult the Queen.
More British than she's ever been, like aggressively so.
Yes.
Maybe a little uncomfortable, quite frankly, but it was still, we miss real graps. Great Britain once again. We ride again here. I mean, a tough weekend for us last time out with Australia not winning, but the Brits always win. That's been proven before. So, you know, we rebound, we keep Jamie Hayter. For now, we'll take Jamie Hayter as champ, I guess.
That's disgusting.
Look, man, I'm trying to maximize the ratings, the viewership in Great Britain. You know, I see the metrics. Shreya's a big star. She make news. Rival firm is from her star power. Remember that.
That's fair.
Nonetheless, we're here Fleet Week, as you can see. We're running 2-man game this week. A little pick and roll. Chris will be here shortly. The Tope Suicida will not. Feel free and safe to continue watching, considering that. Dukes, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you, Joe?
I'm terrific. I appreciate you asking. You know, I've noticed you ask me that most weeks.
Really?
Yes, and I think that with that in mind, I should have realized eventually it would just come to this. It would just be us two just sitting here talking about action figures. You know?
Fair. I'm surprised you're terrific considering how Great Britain got fucking owned in the World Baseball Classic by America.
The World Baseball Classic.
That's what it's called.
Firstly, baseball and classic is an oxymoron. That's not possible. Unfeasible.
You don't know ball.
Listen, man, baseball. I went to a game in 2018 when I was on my road to WrestleMania. And the Dodgers were playing. And I kept hearing about the Dodgers. I keep hearing all this about the Dodgers. And all I saw was people eating hot dogs. I didn't see anything about baseball. Everyone was just eating hot dogs and talking shop. And I mean, there was a sport on. Is there no respect for the art and the craftsmanship taking place on the field? They're just talking about hot dogs the whole time. What's going on out there?
It's about the build. It's about the build, the tension between each pitch. It's about the.
Who are you, Bob O'Neill, talking about fucking Raw or something now? Yeah, well, I guess so. Nonetheless, enough about baseball. We'll cross that bridge another time. I did not order this. Matt sent me.
Oh, it's so funny looking.
I saw that. Matt did send me the picture of it. He also sent me the hat. He said the hat was like cool, and he just sends me this hat, and he's like, "My God, what the fuck is this, man? What is this?" You know. Anyway, nonetheless, we have much to discuss, folks. I said, if you just get in here, Chris will be here shortly to answer your question. Joe Tope Suicida will not. He is. We like to say the meeting he took, or is he kind of? Okay, well, basically, you know, I think it's kind of goes without saying that a lot of the wrestling promotions across the United States watch these shows and try and figure out who the next minds are in the game. Obviously, I've turned down some offers through the years, and I don't need to brag about that. I'll just say that Colt Barrow's made a habit of watching Fleet Week. And, you know, 3 offers were sent and 1 was accepted.
Yeah.
And we wish him the absolute best. That's all we can do, right? We just wish him the best. And, you know, hopefully things work out. Hopefully. Any comment on that, Dukes? Oh.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Then that means he'll come back to this show.
Fuck.
Yeah, you got to really figure it out.
He's just not taken back, though, because he left.
Wow. Like Tony Khan with William Regal in about 2 months?
Yeah. I can make the vibrator. It's fine.
I saw that, but there wasn't any.
I didn't actually make it. He made it still, but
okay. Well, the one thing I will say is I was going to comment on that.
He didn't do any pictures.
No, there was no imagery. Was that like the equivalent of when Tony, you know, when Tony goes nuts and books like 4 super shows, and the next week the main event is like,
yes, that's exactly what it is.
Jake Hager or whatever. Like that's what he did here. I think he reined us back in so that he can come back with a vengeance next week. He didn't want to do any bits that would be wasted on us, I think was what happened. But nonetheless, we wish him well with Major League Wrestling, and we get into some AEW talk at last. We're a week removed from Revolution, bro. Last Sunday, we had our preview show just before. You have not had a chance yet to talk on it. I think it's fair to say people will be able to guess that you thought it was quite good. That was the general kind of consensus coming out of it. But Dukes, what do you make of AEW Revolution?
I thought it was quite great, actually. I know. I didn't dislike anything on the show, and the highs were so like incredible that it was. I think it's the best in-ring show they've ever done.
Yeah, I would agree. What do you think would be number one before last Sunday? What in your view, Forbidden Door? Or do you not count that?
If you count that, Forbidden Door, and if not, Full Gear 21.
Yeah, I am very big fan of Revolution 2022. Also, that was quite good with Punk,
Yeah.
Max, with King, and
I
Jericho.
wasn't as high on the dog collar match, though.
Yeah,
That's probably
well,
why. I like the TV match better.
you're very young.
Yeah, it
You'll
was a
you'll
little. It was
figure
pretty slow.
you'll figure it out one day, kid.
Well, maybe.
I saw a lot of talk about it. I'm only just messing around, but I agree with you. What was your favorite match of the night?
Texas Death Match.
That's his buckshot, Dukes.
Well, this is Hangman Page.
Oh right, okay. I was going to say you got the wrong match. No, so this was your. So I'm intrigued by this because I didn't have the going discourse. So when I watched the show, I thought that was great, but I did think the main event was quite clearly the number one match. What was it about the Texas Death that had it as your number one personally?
They both gave me like different feelings of why they were great. Like the death match, there were like points where I was genuinely like, hands over my eyes, like holy shit, what the fuck are they doing? And the main event was more like I was just kind of in awe at how fucking like flawless it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I value the first reaction more, if that makes any sense.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Also, Hangman and Mox are like my two favorite wrestlers. So, and that entrance.
It was terrific. I have no problem with it. I just was intrigued where you stood. We have a kind of deciding vote here as the big man is back. Chris has arrived in the StreamYard studio. Chris, how are you?
Doing good. I'm surprised that it's not like a week of mourning in Great Britain after that terrible defeat in the World Baseball Classic.
Let's go.
Okay, look, here's the deal.
I already did it.
A fair bit. Cannot show up late and do that. You've now repeated a baseball bit of all things. Baseball bit. Okay, let's just take it easy. Let's have some respect on the veteran in the room, all right? Let's take it easy. Now there will be no more baseball talk, folks.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, you don't have to run from your headphones. There will be no more. Chris, what was your favorite match on the Revolution pay-per-view?
Hangman Mox, I think.
My God, you both got Hangman Mox.
Wow. It's violence, Joe. It's violence.
Oh, I thought, Chris, you were going to go with the Iron Man because I know you were really into the build, and Brian.
Yeah, very close, almost 1A, 1B for me, but in like completely different ways, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. So I have no problem with it, but I lean towards the Iron Man personally. So Moxley and Hangman, where does it rank in the history of AEW feuds? It's got one of the greatest ones. Right? They had 4 matches, all of them were killer. I mean, they don't have many feuds that have got 4 matches in them, bro. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Easy.
What do we? The number one probably Punk and Max, right? Probably.
Yeah, I would say that.
Is this 2?
I guess in terms of matches, yeah, but
yeah, definitely.
If you Kenny and Hangman,
yeah,
but that's different.
It feels so different. It's more like a singular.
It feels like it should be a separate category because it's not like a straight pay-per-view.
It was more. Thing. It was also more about. It was more
just
about
Hangman in general.
Clan. Yes, not so much his rivalry. I mean, it was about his rivalry with Kenny, but not in the way this was a rivalry.
Really loved the build to the Full Gear 21 match, but
well, I mean, it had lost
except for the one promo.
I mean, this one was like a literal blood feud. Like,
yeah, I agree. Definitely a unique one in AEW history. They had 4 matches across just shy of 6 months. Right, the first one was in October, right? Hangman came back. They got back to it in January, and they've had 3 over the last couple months. So, I mean, they got active here.
And if you remember, like we were kind of scared where they would take this.
Yeah,
with the whole concussion thing at one point.
Yeah, you're right.
And then for this to be the result it's pretty nice.
It wasn't. Oh my God, folks! Oh, this is whole shit. There's something awful about to happen on this show. Everyone, please. No. Oh fuck Christ! Look at his picture.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
Oh.
USA.
Look at this, folks. What I put with around here? Look at this.
Main event was the best match. See you guys.
Well, maybe it was worthwhile. Hold up, that kid might know ball. Hang on a second. Not baseball necessarily, but I mean, yeah, I agree with this. By the way,
awesome.
I do. That was very good. I do agree with this. I think the peak of the build up was all out, right? But shit happens. Obviously, much more important.
What they should have done is if they knew he was going away, they should not have done that 10-man elimination tag yet. They needed to save that because that was unreal.
Yeah, that was a moment. That was the best entrance in AEW history, probably.
Easy.
Well, Eddie and Moxley at Double or Nothing is the only one that runs it close.
Yeah, they're different though. The Hangman Dark Order one is more like theatrical.
True. Yes,
And that argument's tough because of like when he comes back in the ladder match, like that was such a great moment. But again, it was like,
yeah.
I don't know if it all
Hangman's got
way better.
some classic entrances.
I mean, this one
The
was
full gear
awesome.
the full gear 21 one is awesome when he's riding the horse in the street.
Yeah, man, he's had a hell of a run, you know. I think sometimes because he's not a guy who came into AEW as a big star. This is where we've kind of seen it happen. I think people don't realize the body of work he's produced in AEW itself. You know,
Yeah.
like we're almost at 4 years here now, and he has to be one of the top guys ever in terms of match quality. He has to, right? No doubt.
Easy.
I mean, if you did, I think Matt was talking about the top 10 matches in AEW history.
He's in like 4 of them.
Yeah, and I don't think if you just asked an AEW fan if that'd be the case, I'm not sure they would instinctually say so. But once you read through the match, you go, "Oh yeah, definitely." You know, like,
and he's not like he gets carried or anything. Like he's a big part.
I just think his skill set is like it's not. You don't want to call it understated because he's very dynamic, but the things that he's really great at, I do think sometimes don't get the credit they deserve. You know, I think that's.
I think it's because he's that he can have any type of match. I'm saying with anybody.
Yeah. No, you might like stop working for a moment. It was quite the deal.
That's interesting. The rivalries thing. The rivalries thing is definitely something we need to come back to at some point because that's such a. Like, I don't know. I think I would go Punk King also somewhere there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's long enough. Maybe Bucks Lucha Bros. I don't know.
It's fair to say that as we kind of do this conversation, like Tony struggles very much with the balance between a feud going too short and too long. He struggles greatly to find the middle ground, right?
King and Mox is really good.
Yeah, really
King
good.
And Mox, yeah.
So, like, a lot of Eddie's stuff feels almost too short. And then the long one, if the long one ends at, like, Blood and Guts, that was a pretty damn good feud, bro, him and Jericho. It did not end at Blood and Guts. There was the extra match that, rough. So, that's kind of the thing Tony has struggled with, I think. And, you know, hopefully this pay-per-view, Jericho and Ricky being shorter, hopefully is a sign of good things to come. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But I do want to quickly share our friend, the third page of Larry Bird, who is not talking about AEW, but says he's catching up on Green Grapplers, which, look, I have to take comments on Green Grapplers. That show's fucking, I mean, Bobby talks the whole show every time. You know, it's incredible. You got to see it, folks. Got to see it to believe it. But yeah, tremendous stuff. I do want to talk about the Iron Man. I've had a chance to kind of cover it across the board, but I want to give you guys a shot to, like, remarkable match, incredible MJF performance. Bryan Danielson is obviously Bryan Danielson. Very, very kind of fair case that he's the best wrestler to ever live. Exceptional. Chris, what did you make of the main event?
Yeah, so I watched it with my roommates, obviously, because they're very into the MJF thing, as I've spoken about many times on here. You know, 60 minutes is a very long time, but they managed to keep their interest, and they were saying like the last 10-minute like sprint of it was like really had them hooked in terms of like I was telling them the whole time I was being that like douchey like, oh yeah, you know, MJF's gonna win, like don't worry about it guys, whatever. And at one point when he starts doing the yes thing, I'm like, fuck boys, we might be back.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, it was awesome. Special. I mean, it got me, man. That moment to me was so special because like I don't know, just as someone that's been a fan of his for a while. I mean, obviously I didn't watch Ring of Honor. I was like 6, but like, you know, my first wrestling show was when the Nexus attacked and he yanked Justin Roberts' tie right in front of me. Like seeing that and seeing him, you know, he said he wasn't going to do it in AEW and him doing it for the first time. That was such a like kind of indescribable moment as a fan for me. So I thought that was great. I thought, you know, the story they told throughout. Max is just so good in the ring. Like it was awesome. I need to rewatch it again.
Absolutely. You're allowed to say watch him for a long time because that is legitimately over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't worry about it, brother. You don't have to have the DVDs like Contrarian and Alex to say it. You're all right. You're good. It's a long time, man. It is what it is. Dukes, what did you make of the main event?
Yeah, it was incredible. I haven't seen a ton of Iron Man matches, but it's probably the best one I've ever seen. In terms of like just holding me the whole time. And I was never bored. I mean, my dad was never bored, even though he was pulling for Max, which is very funny. But
my God.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fascinating, Wrinkle. Okay, carry on.
No, that's it really. It was just it was fucking perfect. I mean,
yeah.
Just an hour of real graps.
Man, Dragon is just he's something
no,
else.
he's
Man.
insane.
I thought it was produced really well too. Like the shot of
Oh,
Max with the
Commentary was great
oxygen,
too.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'm with you. Commentary really locked in. Taz really enjoyed that match. You could tell, like it was genuine admiration for what he was watching.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I want to stress, I thought MJF was extraordinary here. I mean, I apologized to him on Monday. I was that impressed, but Brian, this guy is just a truly special pro wrestler. I mean, it's mind blowing how great he is.
Going back to the commentary thing, like it's been cool for
Mhm.
me to see, because like for us, we like we pop at commentary when it's like when it's Taz and he's being funny and he's being analytical
Right.
or whatever. But like it was cool to see watching with people that don't watch regularly, for them to like actually like not to say that commentary isn't useful for us, but like
Mhm.
doing what their job is for people
Yes.
that haven't watched.
Absolutely.
That was super interesting because obviously I try to catch them up on stuff and I miss some things, but when
Mhm.
Excalibur's talking about like Max's like the 2 years that he's had and stuff and he's telling the story, like that really got them more, like it filled in some of the gaps that I couldn't
Right.
really explain to them, so they did a great job.
Yeah, you actually see kind of for good and bad how important it is, and like in that match, you saw a very positive one. Sometimes on TV, you see a negative one. Like I experienced that when I watched my dad. Like they'll be talking about, God only knows what, and he'll kind of be befuddled by it. In the main event, I think that's one of the best calls. That's the best that free has been ever. I think by far. Really shot, like struck a nice balance of having personality, but being professional and having a real call of the match and treating it with respect the way it should be. But yeah. Incredible. All right. Yes, this is a thing that happened, unfortunately. The third page of Larry Bird. Mama Holbert is done. Left with Phil Brooks, mate. Retired. Packed it in.
Fair.
Didn't watch one match from the Revolution. No interest. Informed that the FTR had returned. Got a nod of the head. That's the end, We need the big man back, bro. Only Punk's going to like, change it, Yeah, they'll play out. All right. Anything else you boys would like to cover on Revolution? Because again, I know it's your first chance to do so on the Grin. So
the trios match, specifically the finish. Oh man,
awesome match.
Buddy Matthews.
He's in trios matches. He's still electric because he can pick his spots.
I would like to make it clear. Was never on a fraud watch for me. Never.
Oh, shut up.
Never. I was the one who said he wasn't.
Someone watch the tape. Watch the tape.
Yeah,
you were the one that said he wasn't.
Go ahead.
You were the one that said he wasn't.
Yeah.
Someone go back and find that. That's a joke.
I was the one that fought it.
Disgrace to this industry. That is a joke.
I was the one that fought it.
My God. Okay, there's going to be evidence.
This is not
true.
Look at the chat. They're lying.
It's such a joke.
There's going to be evidence one way or the other, folks. We'll hold tight on the answer here.
If I said that, I will gladly eat my words. But I didn't say it. I didn't believe it, at least. I was lying. That doesn't count.
That's crazy.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, I think, his face-off with Kenny was, like, genuinely really fun, right? It was really
Malachi.
Fun. Yeah.
Oh, and Malachi and Kenny, yeah.
I want all those guys singles with Kenny. Like,
do you see that Kenny liked a tweet in which someone said that seeing them lock up made them emotional? Popped me huge.
Fuck yeah.
Like, just the idea of it. No, I'm not dunk on it. It's fucking awesome, Like, it's Malachi and Kenny had a big fight field deal, right? Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Trios was great. What was the next best match, do you think, while we're talking through Revolution? Because Rampage, I don't think we need to discuss this week, so we'll just linger here for a minute. What else was great on Revolution?
The final burial.
Oh my God.
Christian is such a prick. I love him.
He's
just a slimy piece of shit. Real wrestler.
He did like 0 wrestling moves.
Zero moves.
Awesome. It was awesome.
He's unbelievable, isn't he?
Incredible.
I mean, it's
Jack should wrestle in the jeans all the time.
Yeah, that was incredible look.
All-time hilarious ending.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
It just disappeared.
It's like it's so cliche and tired to do the thing of like, oh, Christian's underrated, bro. But it's like, man, he really is underrated, bro. Mm-hmm. He is, man. Like he's incredible. He's still so good. He's aged so gracefully as a wrestler, His style is just timeless. He's so smart. The pacing of his matches, the structure of his matches, like
Ben's right. The sleeveless turtleneck was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, great touch. He's the details as a character, as a wrestler. We need to get him back in the ball game ASAP, bro. Or, like, just ASAP. I don't give a shit that he just got buried. We need him
I think
back.
it's Ricky next.
I really hope so. That sounds like my kind of business.
Couple weeks of TV with Juice. Ricky beats him at like St. Patrick's Day or whatever.
Oh my god.
And then
man, that could be something. That could be real good. I'm intrigued by the setup on that. I mean, obviously Ricky's got to do this business with the Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
Which, well,
it should be quick.
You haven't heard Joe Bullet Club's back?
Stronger than ever.
Bro, don't get me started.
They should kill it.
You know, Bullet Club. I'm never gonna like do the thing where I pretend Bullet Club wasn't important because it was. What happened?
Look at JJ's comment.
No, Christian way too cool for the. If you see that dude's fucking like side part hair, awesome comb over deal.
Imagine. I would buy a Bullet Club turtleneck. Okay,
so I don't know if you guys saw, but our friend Matty Bullets did a tweet this week. He was workshopping with me privately. In response to some news from the World Wrestling Federation, he quote tweeted with, "We need to rename all caps as Lex E Dangerously and have the Dangerous Alliance." And so naturally, being a friend, I asked Matt who would be in the group, and he told me that Christian Cage would be the main focal point of this group. And I read this text and stood up and paced around a little bit at the idea of Christian Cage leading the Dangerous Alliance. Could you imagine how much?
Still got it, man. Shoot still got it.
Every time I think he's finished, bro, he still has his fastball. It's incredible, beautiful stuff. Man, I'm nowhere near as well educated as someone like Oracle, but I'll say this: my favorite kind of genre of in ring, my favorite little kind of subgenre, I guess, would be is TV wrestling. And I think Christian's second only to Ray on that front, to be honest with you. I mean, I've watched a lot, especially with Green Grappler. I watched a lot of stuff. As you probably saw when you watched that one, I talked about something like the ECW stuff is incredible, man. Incredible. So Christian's the man. Hopefully he can just kind of get back to being part of the roster now that this business is done, right? That could be fun. So we shall see kind of how things develop here. All right, let's move to Dynamite, boys. Let's do the finish here. This was controversial. The big man, Powerhouse Hobbs, is the new TNT champ. I think we're all happy about that. We all are, delighted to see that kind of come to fruition, but it's a little more complicated than that. Because QTV premiered on Dynamite. Because QT Marshall came out for the finish, hit Wardlow in the back with a chair, set up an all-time funny fucking stunt bump for the finish, which AEW are 1 for 15 on those or something. I'd love to see their record. Man, I don't know. I'm not enthralled by the way they went about this, even though I love the result. Dukes, what did you make of the Dynamite main event?
The match ruled.
It's fun.
The finish is not to spoil the. Oh my god! not to spoil the vibrator, but the finish was the definition of Papa, bad.
I agree completely. Yeah,
there's not anything that fits that category more.
I agree completely because QT is awesome and he's QT.
Yeah. Also,
but he's still QT. You know what I mean?
We're sickos and we like QT Marshall, but
look, I'm not gonna. I think QT's great.
So do I.
But there's a time and a place. It's that's the real thing. And it's I've seen so much pushback where people are like QT's good, and it's yeah, I agree. I love QT. I don't know if you should be getting involved in Powerhouse Hobbs versus Wardlow. That's to me is stretching it. And actually, I think in a lot of ways that kind of sets QT up to fail in a lot of ways because the audience kind of goes, "Oh God, why is this happening?" Which is unfortunate. Chris, what do you think of the closer for Dynamite?
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have led to some nasty Twitter exchanges. But in all seriousness, it's no secret that I don't love those two guys.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought there were some fun spots. Obviously, the ending was the ending. And,
Indeed.
we go to bat for that man a lot. We really do.
We do.
This just wasn't the spot.
No. It feels like, I don't know how you guys feel, but it feels to me like the Ring of Honor thing is a perfect chance to let QT do his thing as a wrestler and not.
That seemed that is the for what he's good at of going and getting the. I remember in Miami, he came out and he was doing the shitting on the sports team stuff and it was getting reactions. I feel like something a little more polished than that in a studio setting would be perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. And he could be like a, upper mid heel there. And it's like,
Right.
I just don't know who wants that necessarily on the AEW
Sense.
roster for QT. It's a shame. I don't know. We'll see what they do. What do you guys think this is actually going to be? Is he going to be Hobbs' manager?
I hope
Or-
not. I mean, they did a pre-tape on Rampage and they were together.
Oh, God. This sounds like a very bad idea, man. Like, I mean,
I know. Hobbs is so cool on his own. That's
Yeah.
why it's so annoying.
do you think that's what it is, though? Do you think they want him to be an actual heel and this is their way of getting it? Or do you think
No, I
I'm
think
giving them too much
he
credit?
could have been a heel. Just have him wrestle baby faces. It's pretty easy.
Well,
he was getting booed when he went out on his own and was like cutting the promo on the
Yeah.
crowd. Or, I don't
yeah, it's
know.
unfortunate. Where are we at with Wardlow, boys? It's getting tough. I don't know what the rebuild is from here, to be quite
I have
frank.
no idea.
I'm not even sure I have a comment on this.
Christian Cage could make it work, but he's with Ricky Starks.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Do you
I don't
really
know about
want to
that.
get? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm just saying
Yeah, no, I'm
Christian
with
could
you.
make it happen.
I don't know what they do here, man. I think they've got
I have no
themselves in a
idea.
real mess here.
Where's Jack? Where's Jack on Wardlow?
He just
how's he
doesn't talk
doing?
about him anymore. That's how he handles failure.
That's
You
unfortunate.
know, like I haven't heard it. He hasn't said the words to me carrying cross in like a year. Refuses to. Actually, isn't true. When he came back, he pretended he was back, and then that unraveled as quickly as you'd expect. I don't know, man. Look, I mean, it is what it is. I've never been a big Wardlow fan, but like it goes without saying, he was red hot at one point, like unfathomably so. He was maybe the most popular guy in the promotion for like a month, which is not. I don't mean that as a diss. Like a month in that promotion is still a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this time
Oh,
last year,
phew.
right? He was.
Yeah, but it feels very, very different right now, unfortunately. And the way they did this finish, it feels like he kind of has to chase Hobbs. So now you're back in the exact same position you were in with Joe, where it's like we have to finish this business, like.
I mean,
I don't know what
it's
you
really
do.
really felt like the only plan was okay. He's gonna beat Max, and then we're gonna give him the TNT title. But like,
Yeah.
there was no. I think that was all the plan was because they didn't have anything after that has seemed like something that
Mhm.
was in the booking process like in advance or whatever. It
Yeah.
just seemed like that was the plan, and he's gonna wrestle whoever he wrestles on a weekly basis, and it is what it is.
It's unfortunate. This is one of those deals you could kind of see it coming. Like Tony's got strengths as a booker, but it always felt like this was going to be something that he failed to kind of capitalize upon. And I think it's fair to say now, as March the following year, like, yeah, they've failed to capitalize on that. I think it kind of goes without saying. It's unfortunate. Like, genuinely, all bits aside, hopefully they can figure out just a place for him to be where he doesn't feel so kind of. Honestly, man, he feels kind of lost right now. Like, in that Revolution show, that match didn't get over. And if you watch, like, Joe did not have a great performance. So I'm not trying to do like a bit when I say this, but Joe was over with the people. Hobbs was over with the people watching the crowd. Wardlow was not necessarily over with people on that night anyway. And that feels telling. So, maybe it's a turn, maybe it's some kind of angle, maybe it's a team. I don't know. But
I do think
hopefully they figure it
third
out.
page of Larry Bird is onto something. I think that place you're talking about is NXT in exchange for Roddy Strong.
I don't know where Roddy's at, but I know he's not in the video game, which feels like a
Bullshit. I'm
Feels
not
like-
buying it.
potential, like,
Kiwi had a nice agenda going this morning. With,
He did?
with,
What was
with,
it?
with that tweet about Roddy.
What did he say?
He said Adam Cole's first feud back's gonna be Roddy. He's not in the video game.
Well, I mean, hold
Racked
on.
up some likes, got some
Well,
traction.
I don't know about Kiwi booking my guy to take a fucking loss to Adam Cole Bay Bay. I mean, let's
said
take
he's
it easy.
losing?
Who said he
Well,
was losing?
That's fair. I
Who
shouldn't
said
have
he's
presumed.
losing?
Shouldn't have presumed, folks. My bad. Kiwi, my apologies. I would like you to add a tweet underneath this one. I'm sure I've got a number. There is Kiwi's in the chat.
There he
Kiwi,
is.
please add a tweet underneath saying something to the effect of, to be clear, Roderick Strong will be winning this match in approximately 7 minutes. Nice little sprint. He can go over the old end of heartache. All right, fair enough. No, I would love it in all seriousness. I mean, the big thing I want for Roddy is from about those Universal tapings because he would be an animal.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, that dude was Mr. ROH, man. He would go crazy in that setting. All right, let's move forward here. Ruby Soho. Destination unknown. Hardly. I don't know where they were last week. I'm just playing. She's a heel now, folks. I was very hesitant on this, but she did cut a very strong promo on her first one. I mean, to be fair, she was a good heel promo in WWE. So I wasn't surprised. She's a very versatile performer. But how are we feeling about heel Ruby through week one, Dukes?
I was scared at first. I was very scared. I really liked the execution of it on the pay-per-view. I thought it was really well done. But
Yeah, I agree.
like during the promo, I was like, all right, come on. Fucking let's get a hit here. And I think she did. I really liked it. It started out with you people, and I was like, oh no. But then everything she said was like true. It wasn't like a bullshit promo. Just, she wasn't waffling about. You know what I mean? She had some points.
I mean, you people is a trope because it's like it can work. It's a very logical way for something to turn. Like they did boo Ruby a couple times,
especially the Statlander one really stuck out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I hopefully she can help. The Dynamite stuff was good. I heard not so positive stuff about the Rampage stuff. Is that fair to say, Dukes?
Oh yeah, that was the closing angle. Yeah, they didn't really do anything. They just came out and beat up Riho.
All right, fair enough. Chris, what do you think of Ruby's heel promo?
Yeah, I think that was like the highest I've been on this feud. Like it was really it was awesome. I think I said we said no more baseball talk. That was definitely like a double into the gap. Like she took advantage of that spot that we were all doubting her. Right? Like I didn't like the hoops that we had to jump through to get there. I thought it was a little too theatrical for me. But once we got there and she cut that promo, like talking about like the entitled rookies and stuff, which would make sense for someone that's like been in that system, right? Where it's like people like Sky Blue or Anna Jay or any of these people aren't on TV as soon as they are, right? For better or for worse, up to the viewer, right? But I thought she did again, she didn't say any lies really. She spoke like how, it wouldn't be a surprise for someone that's been where she's been and that has had the career that she's had to feel that way. So I thought it felt really authentic, even though I've for the longest time been like, oh yeah, Ruby's a baby face, like keep her like that. I thought she was really strong. Definitely the highest I've been on this.
Yeah, I would agree. The third page of Larry Bird asked, people seem to be flagging this as blood and guts, but I'm thinking this is almost certainly the Anarchy match. What do you boys think on that front? That's an interesting point. They could kind of split those. Rather than having one feud do both like last year, they could kind of do something different with it. What do you think, guys?
I think whichever between this and Elite BCC isn't blood and guts will be Anarchy in the Arena. It depends on which,
Right. Which way round would you prefer it personally as a fan, boys?
I think it'd be cool to see the women's blood and guts, but also
happened again, didn't it, Chris? I'm not imagining.
I lost him.
I said I want Brian in blood and guts.
That's my thing.
That's fair.
But also the women's one will be cool, is what I said.
I do think Anarchy in the Arena would suit the Elite more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they could get really creative. Whereas, like, I have to be honest, I think their take on blood and guts could drive me fucking nuts.
I would love
it. That's good. Yeah, but they also haven't done one, so I feel like I kind of want to.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, look, it would,
especially if it's that matchup.
Yeah, I don't know. It would almost certainly be good. Let me be clear. I just, I fear lots of.
They'd get the shit kicked out of them for like the whole beginning of the match.
Yes, it'd be great. I mean, look, whatever those two factions do is going to be great. Because I mean, look at the talent pool, right? I mean, it's ridiculous lineup, but.
Matt's back within seconds is going into the side of the cage.
Absolutely, yeah, he'll be struggling. There was a lot of good promos on Wednesday. We talked about Ruby. Max had a really good one. I always love Max's like pay-per-view post-match. They always try and air those. Yeah, that was really, really good. And Brian had a classic promo, ending with the some uncertainty about what's next. And he said he's going to go home. Chris, I know you're a big fan. What you thinking next is for the American Dragon. We just talked about the Elite. Fighting Blackpool Combat Club. Where does he fit into all this? What's next for Brian?
Well, I love the idea that home is the zone of honor. Big fan of that one. Do I think it's gonna happen? No, not at all. But like that'd be kind of cool. Also, a little bit of a waste of him, to be fair. But for me personally, if I could see him in front of like 200 people, that'd be kind of sick. I want the blood and guts feud like really bad. Or Anarchy or whatever. I want that Elite feud. But I did see like some discussion over him coming back and getting turned on by BCC, which sounds like interesting, but also not what I want. So I feel like I'm a little biased there. We haven't seen them as a unit like that all together, and I feel like it's a huge missed opportunity if we don't get that feud.
Yeah, I'm really torn on this, Dukes. Where do you stand?
I think he goes away for a while. This is just how I see the return and everything in my head. So, like, the Elite and BCC have their first, like, face-off in the ring, whenever that is. Like, a month from now or whenever they start. And then Brian comes out, huge pop, because he's been gone. And he's kind of, like, standing in the middle. Because the BCC are being real dickheads. and then say they're like beating the shit out of Hangman or something like that, and but then he just like joins them and starts beating him up too.
He should kick Hangman's head in. He should do that spot. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Call back to that feud.
I think I'm with you guys.
I really want Kenny and Bryan too.
Agreed. I'm
really
with you on that. There is a part of me that's like, as great as Hill Bryan is, do we need to turn him, Claudio, and Moxley all at once? Or is there not something to be done with them turning on Bryan and him kind of talking about the stuff that we've kind of seen play out here on the TV show? He was the only guy who cared about Regal in the end, And the idea of Bryan having his own like spin-off group that is like what he thinks it should have been all along, and then they fight the Blackpool Combat Club itself, and it could be kind of like a sort of civil war, so to speak,
If you can get Garcia in that, I'm all in.
Right? Like I'm trying to think of who the other bit, because Garcia will be the obvious Yuta counterpart.
Takeshita.
Right.
Okay, hold up. Bryan, Takeshita, and Garcia. I mean, if that was his like spin-off group, and he's like, this is what this thing was supposed to be all along.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just think it's like it's tough because Bryan, if you said to me, okay, I've got Claudio, Moxley, and Bryan, which one should be the heel? I'd say Bryan. But we're not living in a vacuum here. Bryan just had that performance. Do we really want to have him be a heel now? It's hard, man. It's really hard. I'm intrigued.
Sometimes, Joe, we have to make sacrifices. We have to make sacrifices for the matches that we want. And I think this is one of those occasions.
That's fair enough. What if we do both? What if we do the feud so everyone can enjoy themselves, and then we do the angle after where they turn on him? What if we do that?
I'm all in. That's yes.
Because in Blood and Guts, he submits the same way he submitted at Revolution because he's worried about his health. That's the deal. He can't feel his arms. He can't feel his legs. He submits, and Moxley calls him a coward. Piece of shit.
Go.
There you go.
Wait, that is actually it.
That's where we go. Right? We do the feud so everyone can have their matches. Bryan is the one who he's getting soft, man. He's starting to think about his family and retirement and shit like an adult. And he taps, and Moxley can't take it. Cannot take it. I don't know. And then Bryan could like work through all of the Combat Club. So he could work with Yuta, he could work with Claudio, and then of course he could work with Moxley as a babyface. Yeah, I'm very, very intrigued. I think we can all agree this is the actual answer, though, right? As Fuse Nova says here, as long as there is some sort of closure and explanation rather than just Bryan is just kind of not part of the group, which is the way it's been the last couple of months. That would be, this is interesting. See, Joey's always intrigued me with the Blackpool Combat Club because Joey's as much a Regal guy as almost any of these dudes. I mean, Joe and Regal first, they had a match in like 2001. Regal came through as a guest from WWF. So that's very interesting. Him kind of being part of the reshape of Moxley's Blackpool Combat Club, very, very fun. That could be something. Imagine Joe and Claudio as like a full-time tag team. Now there's your top heel tag team. Joe and Claudio versus the FTR.
Claudio Joe.
Oh. Hang on a second.
We don't
well, hold on, Chris. Let's not shoot it down. Let's just play with this a little bit, Imagine that t-shirt.
Yes.
That's why.
It's like
that's why we don't have to go down that road.
Claudio has like the little brackets with like the Switzerland thing in the middle. It's just Joe's face.
Yeah, there you go. Tremendous. All right, we'll leave that there. Speaking of the FTR, they had a big segment on Wednesday. They got a huge ovation. They came back Revolution to a big pot. Shivani gave them a big intro on TV, and they cut a great promo. Cash, got to be Cash's best promo, right? It has to be. Man, I thought this was terrific. This is like, to me, this is the definition of real grabs. Like, dudes just staring down the camera and yelling while Shivani nods. That's what it's all about, man. I love this pro. Chris, what do you think of FTR's return to All Elite Wrestling?
Career versus titles, baby.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm with you, man.
I'm just so happy. I'm so happy they're back. As soon as Revolution, when Renee came out, I was like, oh, we're fucking back. We are back. Yeah. So I'm just really happy. The ovation they got, like when they kind of soaked it in, so good. I thought, definitely, both great performances on Wednesday. It feels like this is where they're meant to be, man. Like it just really does, regardless of, if they're working or whatever they're doing. Like it just feels like this is, especially last year and the respect that they got. It definitely feels like this is where they are meant to be with the reactions from the crowd, like that respect that they have, and whatever they decide, like whatever they end up doing when they stay or if they stay, if that's like turning heel again or whatever.
Right.
I mean, just the matchups, the respect in general that they have. It seems like I'm all for it. I'm all really excited about it.
There's definitely the word respect is definitely definitely like relevant too, because the audience has a very unique connection with those guys. You really can tell. Like, I think it's kind of understated on the internet. Like, they don't just like them; they have a genuine kind of an admiration for those guys. It feels like I'm not even doing this as a bit to pop my to plug my video, but like, I even saw that in the response to that video. But the way people talk about them is different, which is cool, man. It's really really cool, and it was very very evident on Wednesday. I mean, that was a hell of a reaction. Dukes, what do you think of the FTR's big comeback?
Yeah, I mean, the return of got fucking busted open in the first 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately punched Austin right in the face.
Factual.
Very
Very physical.
Yeah.
Very, very physical. Tremendous. You fight out, you all in on this career versus the title gimmick, Dukes?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I think
what is wrong with my? I don't know what's wrong with it.
It's just weird, man. Like, he just goes for like a. It's not like that big of a deal. It's just
I understand like the Dax thing is annoying to a lot of people,
Right.
and I get it. But like the whole career versus title thing, like that's just wrestling, bro. Like that's
that's real good.
It's just wrestling. Like I'm very much leaning in the direction that that's where they're gonna go. Where it's gonna be like, yeah, if we don't get it this time around, like we have nothing left to do, or at least nothing left to do here. Whatever way they frame it, I think that's just wrestling.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We will see kind of. Again, that's like guesswork on our part, right? And like, there's definitely end results to this worksheet business that are lame. There are other ones. The other alternative is that involves Punk. Legitimately, that feels very, very likely at this point. Feasible, not likely, but feasible. Like the idea that this is kind of a false dawn, and then it's going to be framed like they're the outsiders alongside a certain cult of personality. So, yeah, I mean, I'm very, very excited. The one thing I will say is like, I don't think enough is made about the fact that at some point the Revival FTR like call themselves top guys, and they have now just like become that in a really very strange. When they first called themselves top guys, they were not top guys. I mean, I loved them as wrestlers. They wasn't top guys, They were.
I have I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
I have big news. It seems I was correct about Buddy Matthews.
You weren't, dude. I'm
I
telling
was.
you.
I have the screenshot.
No,
it is in our group chat.
This is a problem.
Tope Suicida has the evidence.
I'm not gonna do this.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do this.
Hold up, folks. Hold up, folks. We have Tope Suicida.
And said at least half cleared.
Okay.
And I quote, Fraud Watch might be a little strong. I think there are bigger frauds more worth our time.
Wow. That's pretty conclusive.
In the VC, like numerous times, I remember this.
No record of it.
No record of it. Piece of shit. He knows because I was the one going to bat for him.
You got out-lawyered. You got out-lawyered. You got out-lawyered. Oh my god.
Yelling, you got out-lawyered. Duke's leaning into his camera, talking shit about it.
And the piece of shit that called me a liar in the chat, Brenton Roses. I quote, finally watched Dynamite, and I gotta be real. I think we need to put Bud Matt on Fraud Watch. Granted, he hasn't had a singles match in like 20 years, so that might be unfair. But I was a little let down, TBH.
There's another culprit in the in the screenshot.
In response, All Pro Joe, I agree.
Oh, his mic cut out. We'll never know what he said.
He agreed. That's fair.
He said, I agree with the Brenton Roses. Did All Pro Joe.
No, but okay, whatever. I'm not gonna continue this on air. Okay, we'll handle this like adults backstage. But
it's already been handled.
But this is bullshit.
Nothing to handle.
Wow, controversy here, folks. Very much so.
No controversy. Just the truth.
While the lads fight amongst themselves, I'll quickly answer this question. Joseph, slightly off topic, on topic question. Could Wheeler Yuta become modern day Roderick Strong? Listen, man, I love Wheeler. Good wrestler. You got to have a certain amount. You got to be a bit of an animal. You know what I mean? You got to be a bit of an animal.
Dog.
That's the bit. Yeah, I didn't want to go there, Dukes, but that's
he also does not have a finisher like the end of Heartache.
Yeah, he's just the actual answer is he's not as explosive. He's a really good wrestler, but you need to have like I don't even know who a good comp is. Like, who's like explosive enough? He's like a pit bull,
Buddy Matthews.
you know?
I mean, he's a
He's
dog.
too big,
He's
though.
a dog, but he's not that type of dog. He's
Yeah,
a
different dog. Yeah,
Different
dog.
dog.
Totally a
Or
different
the
dog.
same animal, but a different
Yeah.
beast.
And like, see,
Yeah.
Takeshita, there's overlap there, but Takeshita's too like he's like an actual
He's
star.
too
you know?
he's too big.
Yeah, he's too big. Like he's a star. Like Roddy's like 5'8" of like dynamite. You know, like he's
Darby?
so explosive.
He's not like strong enough though. He's too small.
He
There's
throws, bro. When he wrestles big guys, he fucking launches them through the air. You know,
John
slings them
Silver.
around. Well, there ain't no Roddy, man. He's one of
There
one.
isn't, no.
There ain't no, you know. That's why Tony wants him so bad, man. Needs him to come in and do bad quarter hours. You know, he's what he is. All right. And at some point, Roddy's going to wrestle like Punk on Dynamite. I'm going to be an animal that day, you know, running it back from 04 or whatever, 05. Okay, the FTR, yes, that was very good. Combat Club are now officially heels, I guess, right? I feel they've kind of learned that way the last 2 weeks anyway. Claudio's been a real dick on Ring of Honor TV. Any kind of read on that beyond, yes, what we thought it was going, right? We all kind of called that, right?
Yeah, for
Combat
sure.
Club. Works for me. The JAS had a match as a trio. It is objectively funny that their trio does not involve 2.0, who are now apparently feuding with the Acclaimed, which is funny in its own way. What did you think of their match with the Top Flight and the AR Fox?
That was all right.
Yeah, them wow mids. Were Christian in the same place? Just all right?
Fine little match.
Yeah. I don't even mean that as like a critic, because I don't think they were trying to have like a great match, or they're just having a match. Some of the match lengths on Wednesday I thought were like fascinating, you know? Like if I pull this show up here, hold up a second, folks. This is the Dynamite program we were discussing here. There was like matches that they clearly wasn't trying to have like a classic match by any means. Okay, here we go. Right, Lethal and Orange going 15. Hey, let's take it easy. All right, might not have a life, but let's not take the piss here, right? Okay. Ruby and Sky was fine. 10 minutes for the JES match. I've got to be completely honest as I pull this out here. I was convinced it was longer than that. It felt longer than that to me.
It was one of those.
Same thing with the by the way, Dave went 3 3/4 on the JES match. Definitely a match that he needed to rate. Good job, Dave. The Silver and Reynolds match was one that stood out where they went 10 minutes. And I feel like they could have got the same thing done with like 6 minutes and give Silver his comeback earlier, you know, rather than extending the heat. Sometimes I think Tony's really locked into like a match has to go this long, you know. It's Silver and Reynolds, they have to go 10 minutes. It's like, no, man, they could have gone 6 minutes and come out exactly the same as they went in. But nonetheless, JAS, do you think they're going to stick as a trio or
Sammy and Garcia should just be a team.
Yeah, they could be the top heel team.
To me, this just seems like a vehicle for the Winnipeg thing.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We'll talk about that here in a moment. In fact, we'll talk about that after our most, anticipated segment. The famed vibrator. This week's Fleet Week vibrator is sponsored by Kevin Nash.
Hey, Rob, Kevin Nash. Yeah, I'm upset too, man. Ron was one of my favorite guys to watch on TV also. Plus, he's a buddy of mine. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But if you can get rid of the monster, I guess that nobody's safe, right? Or maybe that's the whole reason they got rid of him. I don't know. Anyway, just a pep talk, man. Just gotta. I'm rooting for Orton now. Orton's my new guy. So I guess that's all I can say. I'll see you through the week. I'll see you through the window. My grandfather used to say that. See you, cracker. Peace.
Before we do the Fleet Week, we all focus on the headlines. Underrated thing of this is just the opening seconds where he says, "Hey, Rob, Kevin Nash."
Hey, Rob, Kevin Nash. Yeah.
He just says his name. It fucking rules. All right. Anyway, nonetheless, here we go. Let's get to the vibrator. My apologies. It's just so funny. Here it is. AEW Dynamite vibrator. Here we go. Hour 1. We start with Pops for the freshly squeezed rematch. A solid match. We didn't talk about one too much. It was a nice match. It was a very logical match. It was not the most exciting match, but it was a good match. Fair to say.
I like the finish.
Very good
That's
finish.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, great finish. I agree with that completely. We move up here to Good Vibes. This feels aggressive. The Bullet Club is televised. Firstly, an awful name. Secondly, this is very high. For a Juice Robinson angle, this feels aggressive.
I liked Ricky's promo, and I think this is actually, I think
Fair.
this is like a fine thing to do for like a couple weeks. And if they want to make Juice like an actual heel on the show,
Yeah.
I think him going after Ricky is actually a good choice.
The Bullet Club fake out. I thought was
Oh
kinda-
yeah, that was.
felt kind of try hard, you know.
I actually like didn't think it was Jay White. I was like, oh, it's probably Juice Robinson.
Okay, that changed.
I was just
Okay.
happy it wasn't Dave Finley.
Yeah, that's
Juice
fair.
is not bad vibes.
No,
man.
the thing is, I think the matches will probably be good. I think they'll be a good fit for each other. I haven't
Yeah.
got a problem. It's just doing the Bullet Club thing felt like Tony conceding no one would care about Juice.
Also,
you know, so like that's just the only. Folks, Tope Suicida has distanced himself from this.
I didn't want to
week's
pull the
Tiebreaker.
curtain.
oh,
back.
this is. I'll take. Yeah, this is true.
I didn't want to pull the
my
curtain back.
God.
There was no meeting. I just had to type it out because nobody, joined the call after Dynamite.
Wow. All right. Well, folks, we'll keep that in mind.
But we
moving
didn't even
forward.
watch it.
Fair respect. All right. Anyway, saw the lineup and said, "Fuck this, Fleetwood can go fuck itself." All right. We ascend further here, far beyond Good Vibes for the Ruby U People program, which we discussed. We all like that. Ruby owns Sky Blue. This would have been
Tope Suicide, I cannot believe you named it that.
that's kind of crazy, but it would have been impeccable vibes if Topo was involved, right?
He was involved because technically he did have the chance to change it, but he just kept it.
Okay, well, fair. It's just 7-minute Sky Blue match on TV. I thought would have been higher, but nonetheless, we stay steady for the backstage hanger promo. I'd expected you to put this higher, Dukes, but you were being modest. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
We climb all the way back up. Impeccable vibes. The FTR are rocking and rolling. No arguments there. We drop back here to Pops for the aforementioned Top Fox. Top Fox, man.
That should be their name.
Top Fox.
Yeah.
Come on, that's very unfortunate. All right, anyway, Pops for that one. Very solid first hour. A little bit more hectic here in hour two. We get underway with impeccable vibes for the trio. So I did think that was a very cool setup, the trio still. House of Black were presented very well there, I thought.
I love that segment.
Yeah, that was good. I like the way it did. I must admit, I would, as a fan, I would have been fine with just the trios. I did triple threat trios. I'm sure it'll be good, but it's a little much for me. But the setup I thought was very, very good, I must say. I liked it. What happened?
I'm up in the chat.
That's Bruce shit, that one.
Yes. Listen, I
Very
didn't
fair.
come up with it. I've seen it around. All right.
Okay.
I thought it was a thing.
Fair enough. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, keeps us impeccable vibes. We then do full, admittedly, some here. Below Pops, which is always dangerous, to the Blackpool Combat Club Darkwood match, which was the one I was kind of talking about the length for me. I just didn't understand why it had to be that long. That match didn't need to be 10 minutes, right? Just didn't stand out. The in-ring on Dynamite was not particularly impressive, unfortunately, which is usually, it was the opposite way of where it usually is, right? Nonetheless, Hangman and Mox not over yet, which gets a decent climb, and then we jump all the way back up to impeccable. This is a little aggressive. Impeccable vibes for the Anything Goes match. I mean, it was fun. Impeccable was a little much, but you get what you get.
I love the
and then-
beginning of the match.
It was fun, no, for sure. I mean, good vibes. QTV, what the hell?
That's accurate.
And there it is, as you mentioned, Dukes, the epitome of pop, but bad. Very, very fair. Yeah, I mean, I think we actually got to cover most of the show this week, but I think it's fair to say that we as a collective, because I'm kind of with you guys, actually liked the show overall, right? Fair to say?
I actually very much enjoyed the show. I thought it was
Mhm.
like just kind of different.
Me too,
a
yeah.
different vibe. It was just a nice watch.
I enjoyed it too. I thought it was a fun show, and I will say, if someone said they didn't think they capitalized on the pay-per-view momentum, I'd say fair.
But yes, very fair.
But I enjoyed it for what it was. All right, folks, there is the Fleet Week vibrator, sponsored by, that one's too long. Anna J.
Konnichiwa.
Bob.
All right, there we go, folks. Listen, man, I was short on videos, Chris. Let me cook over here, all right? Okay. Let's conclude here with some predictions. Next week, Trios triple threat match. We were just talking about JAS, House of Black, Elite. House of Black are staying champs, right?
Yes, for sure.
Where does Jericho go after that?
I think they might kick him out of the group.
Really?
I think it'd be kind of cool. I don't know really what the group does after that, but I think that angle will be very funny, and I'd like to see it.
Be interesting. We'll keep her.
The GAS, the Garcia Appreciation Society.
I hate to say it, but I just don't really care anymore. You know.
Me neither.
That's gonna be
Like,
like the third. That's gonna be like the third infighting angle that we have with that same group. Like,
Yes.
I also like. There's a part of me that wanted to turn that into like an interesting podcast segment, and I was like, oh, who cares? You know.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's like I don't want to overstate it because when Jericho's on the show I'm wrestling, I really have no problem with it. His segments can kind of be a bit tiresome for me, but his matches I have no problem with. It's just, I don't know. We shall see. Stu is back. Trios, obviously the Blackpool Combat Club. When do we think the Elite involve themselves in this feud? Because that's what we all think is going.
Probably the week or two after this. Once they're like officially out of the Trios picture.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Feels like a buck is going to get pinned here, maybe.
How confident do we feel, by the way, that this is like a thing that's happening? Because I feel like we've kind of just pulled this from thin air a little bit.
It's
not thin air.
I think it's
not
Hangman's
thin
little
air.
drops in the promos about
But it's
calling his friends or whatever.
There's definitely a chance one of those things where like guys are kind of shooting their own angle and it's actually not coming up as clear, as clearly as we think it is. There's definitely a chance. I would guess it's happening. But yeah, I think it's a very fair question to ask because, I don't know if you guys noticed, but AEW is a little bit messy when it comes to their creative process. Not always the most cohesive, But nonetheless, this is the big one. Orange Cassidy and Jeff Jarrett. Double J, his pursuit for gold, reaches singles competition. Unless I'm mistaken, he has yet to been pinned to that mat. I don't think he's been pinned once yet. I think Lethal was taking the fall in every single match they've had that they've lost. Does that change on Wednesday, or is there a new? There's going to be a new international champion, I guess, regardless. But is Double J going to be winning that title on Wednesday? What do we think, boys?
Listen, if Tony, I know you're watching. I know you're in the Discord.
Factual.
If you do this idea that I pitched, Joe, did I say this on the show?
The Takeshita one?
Yes. About Jeff Jarrett winning the international belt and then losing it in the opening match of Rampage.
Oh yes.
So
fucking awesome.
In kayfabe he has it for like 2 days, but for real he has it for like 2 hours. Is honestly my best idea ever. And it needs to happen, man. Oh god, it needs to happen.
Yeah,
I think Orange is winning though.
I don't know, man.
I do too.
I don't know. I think
although that ain't that crazy of a pitch, man.
I wouldn't be mad.
The Duke's pitch is not that crazy because they do kind of like, who would the heel be that beats Orange? It kind of feels like it'd be a good way to transition it to Takeshita's the obvious champ, right? We all agree on that much. Intrigued. I don't know. Chris, what's your final prediction?
See it, man. I can see it. I can see it, especially because I think they've been positioning Takeshita for this spot. Like I personally, that's what it seemed like. But and also like best friends, things are kind of weird right now. Maybe they adjust some of that. But I think, man, this has got to be. I mean, not that it has to be, but this would be like a cool way to do it. I think. Also, I mean, if Jeff Jarrett does win, that means he's getting the pencil in like at least 1 year.
Oh,
just because of the strings he's pulling. But
I could see it a bit, bro. Absolutely. There is allegation in the chat, and I'm almost certain this is true, that was actually Joe's pitch and you just stole it. In which case,
I honestly thought it was my idea, which is very funny. But usually I'll just admit defeat and say yes, I stole it. But I genuinely thought it was my idea.
Will you usually admit defeat when?
I think it's Joe's idea. Generally, I think it's Joe's, which just makes it even funnier that you just pitched it and said you just proud.
I mean, I've done this multiple times. I've stolen Joe's ideas multiple times on the air.
I mean, I'm sure I've done it too, to be honest. Like,
yeah, fair.
I've done it with, I've taken Duder's ideas. I've taken Joe's ideas. I've taken Brent's ideas.
Except the Jungle Boy.
They are mine. Well, Duder's Jungle Boy ideas we don't have to get into because that's terrible.
Yeah, it's problematic.
Wow, incredible.
Gross, to be honest.
All right, okay. With that established, whatever that was. Last thing, this Saturday show business. Are
Oh
we in or
yeah.
we out on this Saturday show, boys? Where do we stand? Where do we stand? We fired up or we hesitant?
Fired up. I hope it's like a. I hope they just do ROH, but with AW people. They just do the ROH show, except branded AW.
He
Why
even
not?
even uses the set. It's just called
Yeah,
AW.
it just has all the AW graphics.
Yeah, fair, interesting. Chris, where do you stand on this extra show? Are you in or yet?
I'm just more curious, and more than anything, I'm more curious to see just how it looks, because if they do, like, I feel like it would be really cool if they did like a studio type thing, but at that point, without having like the ROH branding, I feel like it's gonna be way too dark,
Yeah,
like way too much like dark. Sorry, not like physically.
it would have
But,
to be like a really cool looking studio, like something that looked really kind of like wow.
And you're gonna have to bring guys in, like,
Yeah.
and we'll see. But I think it's cool. I just have to take way more notes, and that's it's part of the gig, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited though. More wrestling. I like wrestling. That's cool.
Controversial take, but I respect it.
Yeah.
I'm all in, man. That show will be at like, if it's actually at 6:05, which is the big rumor, that show will be like 11 p.m. on a Saturday for me. I don't need a lot, you know what I mean? I've told Dukes I'm going to be sending Tony a list, 2 lists. 1, wrestlers who need to be on the show, and 2, wrestlers I'll tolerate being on the show. I reckon we're going to come to around 30 names overall. Looking for FTR to defend the AEW World's Tag Team titles against the Butcher and the Blade on the premiere episode. That'd be my ideal opener.
Oh my God. This is an idea that I fully came up with. Don't look at the chat. Ian, JR, and Shivani on commentary. That's fucking real.
Well, there's just one problem. Paul White needs to be on this show. He's been waiting to be on a TV show.
Yeah,
now.
he's gonna be on the show as a worker.
He could be the in-ring interviewer.
Come on, man. What are you doing? He's working Kenny. He's working Kenny at the first show.
Fair. Look, I'm all in on that. I ain't even dunking on that shit. I think that'd be killer, legitimately. Jim Ross concluded his career at 6:05 on Saturdays, where he was approximately 36 years ago, is incredible, especially on TBS too. So, assuming it might be on TNT, I don't know. But we shall see. I'm very, very excited, genuinely, because frankly, Rampage has become so kind of like lame that even though this is probably going to end up the exact same way, I'm just popping at the idea of convincing myself it won't be, you know? Like in an ideal world, they take this and Rampage together and it would allow Rampage to have a different feel too, right? Because like I think we can all agree on that. Whatever it is, it can't just feel like Dynamite again. It can't. Like that was the biggest miss with Rampage, man. Like it was Dynamite's vibe with just worse matches and less star power. This, to be clear, me, Charles, we can't be certain, but like it seems almost, clear that it's not going to be. It seems like it's going to be AEW Collision. That's what everyone believes.
That's so interesting that's not how that went to me. Like,
yeah.
I just love to hear what the conversations are about that because.
But man, I love Ring of Honor, but it's just not, it's not a real thing to the general.
Right.
Like, did you see Tony said they have 12,000 subscribers on Honor Club? It's like, it is what it is, man. I mean, I love Ring of Honor, but the people don't care about it, Like, they want another AEW property, ultimately.
They're such fucking nerds, man. That shit rules. These people need to get on this. It's bad. 12,000
is crazy, right? That gives you real perspective. Like I was on the timeline during that show. I was on the timeline during that show, and everyone I follow was watching that show. And it's like 12K. Gives you some real perspective on like just how much.
Bro.
Yeah, man. But exactly, like that's exactly it. And the crazy thing is while in theory, word of mouth will help it. This was the premiere, like this was the start of the TV. So it's very interesting to kind of see see the difference. You can kind of forget how little a deal Ring of Honor is in the grand scheme of things. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens with the Saturday show. I mean, if it does happen, we'll certainly have something else to talk about on here. It'll be the day after, so there'll be some fresh coverage for us at Fleet Week here. And how about does us here for how many episodes do you think we've done? I don't even number these. Should I number these? Doesn't fit the vibe, though, numbering. That's was always my take,
True.
Yeah. I know the brand, folks. All right. Chris, you got any final words, any plugs, any promotions?
Not really, I guess. Just keep watching Fleet Week if you want.
That's my bit.
I think it's pretty fun,
Yeah, I like it.
Have a good time. So, yeah.
Well, is one of your plugs subscribed to Honor Club?
It should be. I'm going to do that now. Yeah, subscribe to Honor Club, please. Watch. Well, actually, no. My real plug, watch Willow and Athena if you haven't yet.
Oh,
That's my plug. That's my plug.
Actual.
Oh my god, what a match that was! That was terrific.
And watch why
Tremendous.
2022 is the year of FTR. That was also another good one this week.
I heard good things about that. Yeah,
That was pretty good.
Thick accent on that guy, but I did like what he
Yeah.
said. Good stuff. Dukes, any promotions?
No.
You sure?
Yep.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, folks, tomorrow, Wrestle Purist World by myself, Manny, Ibu, Montgomery, talking about the world of professional wrestling. Did any wrestling happen this weekend?
No.
I need to catch up on Stardom from last weekend. So that would be my plan
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow. I need to do that. Yeah, I've got it all lined up. I got that. Roxanne's match. Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders. This is the lineup for tomorrow. So these reviews will be coming out over the coming days on latenightgrind.com. Back on my bullshit over there. Tuesday, the Historical Oracle rides again. Oracle at the Big Man is back. Wednesday, I'll probably do a solo and just talk shit again like I did last week. Thursday, Jay Shell and Joe. Jay Shell's on vacation. Maybe with that earlier. I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. But Thursday will be the flagship for sure. As I said on Fed Dead, the WrestleMania week flagship will be going old school this month. Taking it back to the good old days, some retro vibes. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, we hope you've enjoyed this. Another successful Sunday block of professional wrestling conversational content. Catch up on WCW Remade to hear how we're setting up our Arn Anderson Bret Hart title match, which Matt and I took 2 episodes to get to. Very proud of us for getting that far. Much to look forward to. Grins to be had. I do believe also that we may be doing a game night on WrestleMania week, folks. Maybe, just maybe. Can't confirm that yet, but I think so. Also, a WrestleMania 19 Grin Along, which I don't know if you boys have seen that show. Oh, you've not seen it? Chris, have you seen WrestleMania 19?
19 is, tell me matches. I'm not good at numbers.
Brock and Angle, Rock and Austin Free.
Haven't. I've probably seen. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the whole thing, so.
Okay. We might need to make it work so you guys can be on that. I think that'd be a good time. That's an all-time great WrestleMania show. Hogan and Vince have one of the most insane matches ever, where they bleed buckets.
I need
Vince
to watch
does a
that.
leg drop off a ladder. It's an actual thing that happens. So, all right, folks. Anyway, lots to look forward to. WrestleMania season ahead. Fired up. Can't wait. Keep grinning. All hell. Enjoy this outro.